Genetically modified organisms, or GMOs. You've probably heard of this phrase before, even if it was just on passing in news or on the internet. But what are they, and why are they so important to so many people, and probably to you as well? My name is Leah Zaitlin, and I'm here to explain that. Good morning to all the honorable judges, guests, and other competitors here. I would like to explain how GMOs are and what they are in 3 parts. First is understanding DNA. The second is understanding how GMOs are created. And the third is understanding the benefits and challenges that faces this technology. First, understanding genetically modified organisms is understanding DNA. What DNA is like a cookbook for an organism. Every living thing has DNA, and every organism has a specific set of that DNA that is in all of the cells of that organism. And this DNA works like a cookbook. Each different part of that organism would use a different recipe from that cookbook to make the recipe for the function that it has. So for example, your eyes would use a different recipe than the lining of your stomach. How is this important to GMOs? Well, genetically modified organisms are created when a small section of DNA with a specific trait that is desired is inserted into a recipient organism. This is done in many ways, but let's give an example of one. So let's say you had a pest that had been really bothering your corn, and you wanted to and you knew that a different organism had a way of getting rid of that pest. So you wanted to take the trait in that organism that got rid of that pest and put it into your corn. First, you would have to analyze the corn and the organism in which you're taking the trait from and figure out what makes it get rid of that other pest. Then you would have to extract that specific sequence and insert it into the recipient in a variety of ways. There are a few different methods for this. One is using a small metallic pellet and attaching the DNA sequence onto that and shooting it into the recipient organism. Another is through injecting the trait into an embryo, a fertilized embryo with that specific sequence. Another is adding small sorts of electricity to a sperm and then inserting the trait through that. And there's also a method in which you can use viruses to infect the recipient organism with the donor's trait. So, how is this used? Why is it useful? And also, what problems do people have with it? Well, first of all, there are some challenges. If you accidentally put an allergenic substance into an organism that was thought to not contain that, it could be dangerous to people who have that allergy. Also, people have worries that even if you don't want it, for whatever reason, even if you just don't want to eat something that has been modified, it is difficult to separate fields that have been genetically modified from fields that aren't genetically modified because they still breed in the same way. Also, there are concerns about the companies that do create genetically modified organisms about their responsibility and making sure that they test properly and are not misleading farmers as well. However, there are benefits to genetically modified organisms as well. For example, they have created things such as golden rice, which has added vitamin A to rice so that it can be grown in areas that are hard to get things like vitamin A, helping many people who are in disadvantaged situations. Also, they can be used to reduce the use of pesticides or to use a less variety of pesticides and to improve growth of plants. All of these can be beneficial economically, they can be beneficial to people's health and to the environment, though there are you have to continue using methods for traditional crops, such as crop rotation, to ensure that there aren't things like the insects getting resistance to the genetically modified organism. All in all, genetically modified organisms are a technology that has a lot of benefits and challenges and will be interesting to see how they affect the world. Thank you.